Hey, you guys, I'm Noelle,
And I'm Jeannie.
and we're so glad that you're here. I know all of you have taken time out of a busy day to join us, so let's jump right in because we have a lot of ground to cover. Over the next 45 minutes, we're going to tell you how to stop getting buried by your competitors, and I'm going to tell you how I went from being an absolute noob to earning six figures and pulling in more than 21,000 sales with a 5-star average rating each year. Even as I say that, it sounds completely crazy to me. Basically, we're going to tell you how to stop getting lost in a sea of listings and start making money using the same methods that I did.
A quick caveat. None of this is going to be a do this one weird trick and your Etsy shop will explode. We don't work that way because that doesn't work. We didn't succeed overnight. We tried a lot of things and some worked and some didn't, but we kept meticulous track of what worked and then we did more of what worked.
Which was honestly kind of rough at some points. I nearly gave up a number of times, and I'm sure that some of you can relate to that. The struggle is real, but the good news for you guys is that our success on Etsy was not accidental. It wasn't an anomaly, and even though it was hard won, it's completely replicable. And the really good news is that you don't have to bumble around and make a lot of dumb mistakes the way I did, because we're here to tell you what worked.
Today, we're going to cover 5 strategies that make all the difference between getting buried in search results by your competition and beating out that competition fair and square.
One thing you'll notice right off the bat is that we don't call any of these secrets because they aren't secrets. You can verify everything we're going to tell you today if you spend enough time on Etsy forums, blogs, books, and through your own hard-won experience. But, and this is a big but, you're going to have to sift through some truly bad advice to get there because we're going to tell you right now, and you probably already know this, that there's a lot of snake oil and theories and secrets and guesses about selling on Etsy that frankly are kind of BS.
So again, these aren't secrets. They're the exact same strategies that we use to grow our Etsy shop to more than 21,000 sales, 6 figures, and a 5-star rating. This webinar is for you if you're new to Etsy and want to skip the guesswork. It's also for you if you've been putting a lot of effort into your Etsy shop and not seeing many rewards.
The first topic we're going to cover today is how to position your product so that it will actually sell. Because you can have the coolest, most beautiful, unique product in the world, but if you don't position it correctly, it's going to get buried. Product positioning might sound like kind of subjective, mysterious process, but it actually isn't.
The second thing we're going to talk about is how to make that product visible to the right customers using Etsy's algorithm. Because again, you can have a truly incredible product and 0 sales. It's all about sending the right signals to Etsy's algorithm.
The third thing we're going to cover is listing photos because you can have a wonderful product, give Etsy's algorithms the exact right signals, and your customer is still going to be like hard pass if you aren't communicating well visually. And no, you don't need to be a professional photographer or know Photoshop to create great listing photos.
The fourth thing we're going to discuss is reviews, because they are a huge part of success on Etsy, a part that often gets brushed aside as unimportant. They matter more than you think, and we're going to show you some incredibly easy strategies for increasing your 5-star reviews by around 50%.
The last thing that we're going to talk about is improving your Etsy quality score. Some of you might not be aware that you have a quality score, and that's okay. It's not your star rating, although that does factor into your quality score. Your Etsy quality score is a score Etsy gives you, and it affects everything from where a new listing gets ranked to how many potential customers see your existing listings. In other words, it's a really big deal.
The first topic we're going to cover is how to properly position your product. And when I say position, I mean 2 things. First, how to set it apart from your competitors' products and make it appear desirable and worth purchasing. It's the difference between selling a wooden chair and a hand-carved walnut chair. And second, we're going to tell you how to make sure that your product is positioned in a way that allows potential customers to find it.
There are 5 basic qualities that can help set your product apart from your competitors and make it more appealing to customers who are shopping on the Etsy platform. First, it's giftable. Second, it's unique. Third, it answers your potential customers' questions before they have to reach out to you via Convo. Fourth, it's discoverable. That means that potential customers have a way of finding it exists through what they're typing. And fifth, it lives in a niche where you can actually compete and be successful. Let's go ahead and dig a little bit deeper into each of these 5 qualities because considering each of them can help you reach way more customers.
The first key to positioning your product is to make it giftable whenever possible. A huge percentage of folks combing through listings on Etsy are looking for something they can gift to a friend, spouse, teacher, coworker, or family member. Understanding who might want your product as a gift can make a big difference in how you describe it with keywords, how you tag it, and how you stage your listing photos. Would your mug make a hilarious graduation present? Would your socks be an ideal stocking stuffer? Spend some time thinking about the ways your products could be gifted.
The second key to positioning your product properly is making it unique. People who shop on Etsy are looking for unique products. They're searching for one-of-a-kind gifts or original decor pieces. These are things they can't readily find elsewhere. In other words, what you need to do is highlight what makes your product special, what makes it unique. Be sure to describe and visually present your product in a way that highlights the one-of-a-kind, handmade, and unique qualities that set it apart from something your customer could find elsewhere.
The third key to positioning your product is to answer your customers' questions preemptively before they have to reach out to you in a message. Most customers do not want to wait on an answer, so they'll just click over to your competitor who has spent time curating an FAQ, frequently asked questions, showing the product from different angles to show size, texture, color accurately, and making their return and refund policies clear.
The fourth key to positioning your product is to make sure that people know it exists and that they're searching for it. Let's say that you're selling sterling silver jewelry. How can you tell how many people are actually searching for that? So let's see here. Let's search for sterling silver jewelry. All right, we're going to type it into the search bar here, sterling silver jewelry. And when it comes up, take a look at that. This more than 3 million results. Searching in Etsy, in other words, is going to give you some idea of whether a decent number of people are searching for your product. And clearly they are. Sterling silver jewelry is clearly a popular item. But that number of 3 million plus results is mostly going to tell you how many competitors you have in selling it. Look at all of these. Lots of competitors is a good sign that your product is highly marketable, but it also means that your product might be buried by an oversaturated market. If your product is buried way down here as you're scrolling and scrolling, that's a problem.
The fifth key to positioning your product is finding a product niche where you can actually compete and be successful. The goal is to find a niche with a lot of potential customers, but not very many sellers. This is especially true if you're new to Etsy or you haven't had a lot of success yet, because jumping into highly saturated, highly competitive niche isn't a recipe for success, especially if you're just starting out. But how do you identify a good niche?
In order to know if you have a great niche, you need to know how many people are actually searching for a product each month, not just how many results Etsy shows when you type in a search term. You'll have the most success if you use a tool like Marmalade or eRank. These tools will give you data on actual searches and customer engagement. And just a quick disclaimer, we don't work for Marmalade or eRank. These are just tools that we use and love. A quick caveat that they aren't free tools, but the value they offer is completely worth the cost. Marmalade is about $19 per month, and eRank has a $6 version that will serve a lot of Etsy shops really well. Marmalade's data is a little bit easier to sort through, hence the higher price tag, but eRank is very affordable and a great choice for newbies. So let's go ahead and walk through an example of what this might look like in your Etsy shop. We're going to type in sterling silver jewelry again over here on eRank, and it's going to pop in here and think, all right. So when we look at our results here, take a look. That's 643 people searching for sterling silver jewelry each month. But even more important, take a look over here at the CTR. See that right there? That means that that's the click-through rate. So that's a percentage that tells you how often each search turns into a potential customer that's actually clicking on and then hopefully buying the product. The CTR for sterling silver jewelry is 55%, which is pretty darn good. If the searches in the CTR for a keyword are high, that's a really good start. And you might think, okay, great, but We're going to take a look at one more number here, and that's going to be the actual kicker. There are also 50,000 competing listings. We know from our previous search that it's more than 3 million on Etsy, but eRank uses 50K as a saturation point for any wildly competitive search phrase. Basically, it's going to be a lot of work for you to climb through the search results when you have that much competition.
Now, that doesn't mean you have to abandon your beautiful sterling silver jewelry or that keyword, but it's probably a good indication of why you may not see or have seen much success using that keyword. You need to hone in on a space where you can compete. Maybe let's try a different keyword. What about the keyword engraved silver earrings? It's thinking, here we go. And there are 39 people searching for that each month. It's definitely not as many as sterling silver jewelry, and the click-through rate is unknown down here. But look, there are only 6,000 other sellers competing with you for that term when you search on Etsy. That is so much better odds of success than competing with 50 or 100,000 or a million other sellers.
The very best keywords are going to have high or moderate searches, high click-through rates with low to moderate competition. That means a lot of people are looking for the product using those keywords, but not too many sellers are positioning their product that way. I'd encourage you to spend some time honing in on the keywords that have moderate searches with minimal competition. Anything under around 10,000 competitors is going to be a pretty good benchmark for you to rise through the results more quickly. When I first started selling on Etsy, I was selling these amazing retro designs from women's history, and nobody was finding my stuff. It was giftable, check on that. It was unique, another check. I was answering my customers' questions, third check, and that's where things really fell apart. People didn't know how to search for my products, or at least not very many people. A big part of my success came from using Marmalade, Etsy Ranker, and Genie's keyword wizardry and research to figure out what my customers were actually looking for. And as it turns out, nobody was looking for women's history t-shirts, but they were looking for feminist t-shirts, and they were looking for feminist art, which brings us to our next strategy.
So let's talk about making your products visible to the right customers. That might sound confusing, so let's break it down. Etsy can't see your beautiful listing photos. It doesn't care how clever your descriptions are. Your customers will, but we'll talk about that in just a bit. Etsy's algorithm can't see anything. It's just artificial intelligence that synthesizes a large number of signals to figure out which customers might want which products.
Etsy's search algorithm is what connects your customers to your products. It speaks a very specific language, and to be successful on Etsy, you'll have to speak its language too. There are so many sellers on Etsy who are either speaking total gibberish, as far as the algorithm is concerned anyway, or they're saying one thing but selling another. The results are either no sales or really low sales. Now, just like Google's algorithm, the exact way that Etsy's algorithm works is a pretty closely guarded secret, and sometimes it does change. But if you pay attention, three very clear patterns emerge.
First of all, you need to put your very best keyword at the front of your listing title. Don't be cutesy, don't be coy, don't be clever. Put that amazing, low competition, decent search volume keyword right up front. That's the number one thing that Etsy's algorithms look at. Number two, stuff those keywords anywhere possible. Mirror your very best keywords in your description and in your very first listing tag, and use variations of that keyword as many times as possible. Google doesn't reward keyword stuffing, and you may have heard that, but Etsy definitely does. And number three, eyeballs matter. Promote your new listing on social media to your friends or even to your spouse shortly after you list. Add the listing to your cart in an incognito browser. This gets eyeballs on your listing. It tells Etsy's algorithm, hey, this one is getting some attention.
Remember when I told you that listing photos didn't matter to Etsy's algorithm? Well, they don't. But they do matter to your customers, and the way your customers engage with your listings does matter to Etsy's algorithm. It's the circle of life, and it moves us all. That's why the third thing we're going to cover today, the third thing that will help you rise like a phoenix through the search results on Etsy, is your main listing photo. Because you can have a truly wonderful product and give Etsy's algorithm the exact right signals, and your customers are still going to say, nah, maybe not, if you aren't communicating very well visually. And then the algorithm that we were talking about is going to say, red flag, nobody's clicking on this or buying it, and something is amiss. And you'll get buried. In a survey Etsy did, 90% of buyers said that photo quality was either extremely important or very important to whether they even bothered clicking on a listing. And that is a huge number. I feel your anxiety rising through the airwaves. I really do. So let me just say this right now. No, you do not need to be a professional photographer or even know Photoshop. The cameras on smartphones are incredible. You just have to know what to do with the images to take them to the next level.
So let's talk main images. This is the image your buyer will see as they scroll through listings on Etsy. Here's the 4 absolutely critical things you need to do to stand out. 1. This might sound basic, but it's apparently not something all Etsy sellers know. You need to make sure your photos are in focus, not even just slightly blurry. Not a teeny bit blurry, it's a really big deal, and it translates to sloppiness and amateur hour. We're going for crisp, folks. Number 2, keep it simple. A clean white background is often all you need, or a weathered wood background. Your product should be front and center without distractions. I know there's all kinds of cute artsy stuff you could include in your main photo, but don't do it. It'll be more work for you and it'll feel cluttered to your buyers who will scroll right past it. Number 3, along those lines, don't be coy with your buyers. Show exactly what the product is and keep it very simple. In other words, if you're selling ceramic pots, don't show a ceramic pot sitting in a saucer beside a cute watering can. Keep the main focus on your product. If you have too much going on in your photos, you're going to confuse or annoy your buyers, who imagine they will have to do some digging to figure out exactly what you're selling. And number 4, as Lizzo puts it, you need balm lighting. Natural, soft, diffused lighting. No harsh shadows, no blown out highlights. Nothing says, I am an amateur, like dark photos or harsh shadows.
The fourth way you're going to avoid getting buried by your competitors is to get 5-star reviews. I know that might sound like it's out of your hands, which is what I thought at first too. The first year of my Etsy shop, the reviews just sort of trickled in. I'm seeing Lisa pass me a question. Jenny from California just asked, don't people only leave reviews when they're upset about something? And that's a really great question. Customers left reviews spontaneously for me sometimes, and most of the time they were actually good. But the few bad ones did carry a lot more weight because there weren't that many of them. That's a real problem because across the board, surveys show that 97% of Etsy's customers will look at your reviews pretty extensively before they make a purchase. That's almost everybody. A lot of customers will scroll right past your shop if your reviews aren't very impressive or if you just don't have very many. And Etsy's algorithm, as we know, takes those signals from potential customers incredibly seriously. We're going to dig into your Etsy assigned quality score next, by the way, so don't worry, it's coming up.
So what can you do? I'm going to throw another stat your way that's the key to this strategy. According to a wide-scale study done by Bright Local, nearly 70% of customers will leave a review if asked. I'm here to tell you that's absolutely true. When we started asking our customers for reviews, we saw a 50% jump in 5-star reviews.
Asking, that's the real ticket. How do you do that exactly? In your shipping confirmation email and in your order confirmation email. Etsy sends these out automatically when someone purchases from your shop, but you get to write the message the buyer sees. Tell your customer something along the lines of, I hope you enjoy your purchase, don't hesitate to reach out if you need assistance or you have concerns, and please consider leaving a positive review. It would mean the world to me as a small business owner. See what we did there? We encouraged customers to reach out instead of trying to communicate by leaving a negative review in a rage if they have an issue. And then we asked for positive reviews with a reminder that we are a handmade, small shop that has a real person on the other end. Some of us get so used to shopping impersonally at big box stores and Amazon and online that the reminder that we're actually dealing with a real person is really helpful. Again, the key ingredient to a high converting review request: thank your buyer for their purchase, remind them that you are a small business owner and a handmade artist, and tell them that you appreciate each and every one of your customers. Let them know that a 5-star review would mean the world to you. And make sure that you say that you hope that they love their purchase and encourage them to reach out to you personally with any questions.
If you've successfully associated your shop with a personal, positive message that makes your customer feel like an important part of your shop, and I dare say life, that memory is likely to ping in their minds when they see the notification pop up on their Etsy dashboard asking them to rate their purchase. It's such a simple way to encourage your buyers to take the extra 10 seconds to review you.
Our final strategy is improving your Etsy quality score. Now, this isn't your star rating again, and you won't find out a lot about it in Etsy's handbook.
Your Etsy quality score is a secret score that Etsy's algorithm gives your shop internally and your individual listings. And understanding what makes your Etsy quality score go up or down is critical. Your Etsy quality score influences three main things. One, where a new listing will appear in search results. Two, how many potential customers see an existing listing. And three, how aggressively Etsy shows your listing in offsite ads and Etsy suggestions that populate when someone is looking at another Etsy listing. This is basically a nudge from Etsy that says, oh, hey, you like that? Well, take a look at this too. And you want your listings to be appearing in these suggestions.
There's three main things you need to understand about Etsy's quality score. One, your rating is changing all the time based on your sales, your conversion rate, how many people are looking at a listing versus how many people are buying it, in other words, and how often you engage with your shop. Second, if one of your listings starts getting negative points, maybe because you've used keywords that don't describe it very well, or the competition is just too fierce for you to really succeed in that niche as a newbie, Etsy throttles how many new views that listing gets. In other words, you get buried in a sea of your competitors. Etsy doesn't make money if you don't make money, and if the listing is sending out bad signals, it ends up getting buried. 3, if you have too many listings sending negative signals to Etsy's algorithm and earning poor scores, your shop's overall conversion rate is going to get dragged down, and Etsy's algorithm is going to stop giving your new listings as much of a boost. Basically, if you have listings you think would perform much better based on what you've learned in this webinar, you need to relist them rather than just modifying those listings because they have a negative score attached to them.
Again, you can't just add in some wonderful new keywords to the listings that aren't doing well and expect those listings to take off. Etsy has kind of blackballed those duds. Start over with better keywords and better images. Relist those listings.
These 5 strategies are some of the very same strategies I use to get Etsy's algorithm and my potential customers to notice my shop. I know that they work because they worked for me, and they've been working for Etsy shop owners that I've coached for years.
Etsy is an incredible platform. The naysayers you'll find on message boards and Reddit who tell you it's a waste of your time are often listening to bad advice, trying to sell a product that doesn't have much search volume, or are speaking gibberish to Etsy's algorithm.
So to those of you who are still with us or who listen to our story and think that is exactly what I want to do with my Etsy shop, we'd like to help you with that. We've created 2 different masterclasses for Etsy sellers. The first course is an option called Etsy Essentials, and these are the essentials, the foundation, the building blocks for success. And whether you're just starting out or you just aren't seeing very much success yet, this course is for you. The second class is a series called Etsy Expert, and it's all about taking the strategy in Etsy Essentials to the next level.
I want to give you a quick overview of Etsy Essentials. In Etsy Essentials, I will give you a detailed, down-to-earth, no-fluff instruction on how to set up your Etsy shop correctly. You and I will dig deeper into the strategies we've covered today, and we'll dig into which products actually sell, the little mistakes that translate to low customer conversion, and how to sweet talk Etsy's algorithm. We also talk about things like material sourcing, where to find your packaging, for instance, and how to price your items. Just like this webinar you're in today, I'll be taking you behind the scenes in our shop, Fourth Wave Apparel, to show you the exact same strategies and setup that we use. So the Etsy Essentials course is divided up into 5 different units that build on each other. And I, Jeannie, am going to be the main instructor for that course. So let me give you a quick overview. In the first module, I'll do an in-depth walkthrough to help you set up your shop. I want to ensure that you've crossed all your T's and dotted all your I's. We'll cover common mistakes and how to really make sure that what you're selling is reaching the right audience. In Module 2, we're going to talk all about listings, titles, keywords, descriptions, you name it. We're rolling up our sleeves and making our listings shine. The third module covers all the visual elements of your shop. And again, you don't have to be a graphic designer or even very tech savvy or a photographer to succeed here. Etsy is a visual platform, and we need to get you up to snuff on your listing photos, shop header, and overall aesthetic. The fourth module is about the everyday challenges of running an online store. Shipping, packaging, order fulfillment, and pricing your products correctly to maximize sales and revenue. In other words, the boring stuff. The fifth module is the last module, and we'll talk about customer service and how to get those precious 5-star reviews with every sale. And I've added 2 bonus segments also, one on using Etsy stats to increase your sales, and the second on marketing opportunities all Etsy sellers should be using.
When you click that button, you'll also see an option to add my Etsy Expert Masterclass series to your cart. I want to give you a quick overview of what you'll be learning in Etsy Expert so that you know what to expect. Like Etsy Essentials, there's 5 in-depth units where I'll take you behind the scenes to show you exactly what I did to make more than 21,000 sales on Etsy. In the Expert module, we'll get into some really fun stuff about next level marketing, advertising on Etsy, offsite ads, social media, running sales, using coupons to your advantage, and then outsourcing some of your tasks and using virtual assistants as you grow. We'll also cover how to troubleshoot some common problems that you might run into, more with customer service, improving your profit margins, pros and cons of branching into other platforms, and even stuff like how to make sure you're not paying too much in taxes. The truth is that most successful Etsy shop owners are because they aren't scaling effectively. Etsy Expert builds on Etsy Essentials to keep your pedal to the gas and really grow your shop. There's so much to learn, and I'm so excited to share what I know with you. I'll say right now that these courses are meaty. They are more than 100 videos in Etsy Expert alone. It's just me and you diving into the ins and outs of Etsy growth strategies with down-to-earth advice.
When you check out, you'll have access to all your masterclasses immediately, so you can learn at your own pace. Some of our coaching clients blaze through in a week. Others want to go a little slower and do 1 unit each week. The pace is totally up to you, but you'll have access to all the masterclasses forever. That content will always be yours. This is not a subscription.
A quick note, if one-on-one coaching is something that you're interested in learning more about, you can shoot me an email at noelle@craftranker.com. It's written right there on the webinar screen as well, and I'll get back to you promptly. As we're wrapping things up here, I wanted to also take a second to let you know that my masterclasses, both Etsy Essentials and Etsy Expert, as well as my one-on-one coaching, come with a 100% money-back guarantee. Not to sound like an infomercial, but if you aren't impressed or if you don't end up feeling like it's a worthy investment, I really don't want your money. After 30 days, if you reach out to my team, you can email us at noelle@craftranker.com. It's there on the screen. We'll refund you. I'm not hard to get a hold of, and you'll hear back from us usually within the hour or at least the day. I think this is worth repeating. The reason we offer that money back guarantee and the reason that we don't call our strategies secrets or tricks is because they don't require luck. They're more of the insights that we've shared with you today. That's what you can expect from these master classes, and that you then go ahead and apply to your own Etsy shop the way that we've applied them to ours. I want to talk quickly about who will benefit most from our masterclass series because I'm guessing that a number of you are wondering if this is worth your time, if it's worth the money, and if the strategies that you're going to learn will actually work for your shop. So, who are these masterclasses geared toward? I'll say it this way. These master classes are geared toward anyone who is willing to put in the work but wants to follow good advice instead of stumbling around through forums on the internet and making a lot of mistakes that they could otherwise avoid. This isn't a get-rich-quick method. If you hear that or somebody tells you that, then absolutely run away. Getting rich quick. Getting rich quick requires a lot of luck. It requires just something different than what we are offering. We are offering the ability to do what works and apply that to your shop with hard work. We've worked really hard to make sure that this course is accessible for the people that we've coached in the past and the people just like you who are interested in coaching. That means, if you're 80 years old and you're still new to technology, we see you. If you are a stay-at-home mom with a couple of kids and you're wondering if you have what it takes, we see you and we are you. And if you're working a desk job and you're daydreaming about, taking your hobby and making it into what you do for your full-time job, we see you. And these master classes are for you, you know.
If you want to know what other Etsy shop owners have to say after they've gone through our master classes, Annie, who sells watch bands in her Etsy shop, sent us this review. She said, "I've spent so many hours reading through forums on Etsy help. This was so straightforward. I've only gone through 2 of the units so far, and my sales are up 150% this week." That's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. And look at it this way. If these master classes, let's say they helped you pull in an additional $1,000 or $1,500 a month, would they be worth your time? If they gave you the tools to make your Etsy shop so successful you could quit your day job, would it be worth it? What I'm really getting at is, what do you actually have to lose here and what do you have to gain? I would encourage you to take the leap. And if it pays off, you get to follow your dreams and grow your shop. And if it doesn't, I return your money because, again, I don't want your money if I'm not helping you.
We're going to take just a few questions. Joan says, "Should I be using commas between my keywords in listing titles?" I love that you're thinking about your listing titles. Like we talked about earlier, that is one of the most important areas in your shop. And the answer is yes. Etsy's algorithm will ignore them, but they'll be more readable to your customers if you use commas to separate things out. That being said, you don't have to use commas. You don't have to separate your keywords by anything but a space if you don't want to. You can just put a long string of keywords in that 140 characters, and Etsy will parse through those keywords just fine. And that can be one way to fit one extra keyword into your title if you want to.
Absolutely.
Next question Lisa sent our way from Keisha L. "How can I get more eyeballs on my shop?" That is a great question. Your keywords are the top way you're going to get those views. Better keywords means you're speaking Etsy's language, which means it'll funnel more people to your listings and to your shop. But other ways to get those eyeballs on your listings include using Instagram correctly, creating a following on several social media platforms, and using Etsy ads. And we're going to cover all of this in the master classes.
All right, so our next question is from Katie, and she's asking what the most profitable niche is on Etsy. And that's actually a question that we get quite a bit. It's true that some niches and products do have a much wider margin, that there's more profit to be made from an individual product. There's a lot of search volume for them. And if you haven't actually decided what you want to sell on Etsy yet, you just know that you're like, this is a great platform I want to sell, but you don't know what, that's not a problem. And there are some really smart steps that you can take before you invest in equipment, photos, and deciding on a particular product. So the short answer is that there's some great info that you can do to gauge how much margin you would get from a particular product, as well as taking a look at your competition. And we'll cover all of that. It gets kind of in depth, so we'll talk about that in the master classes as we get into choosing products and which products and margins and scaling your products. Lisa is letting me know that there's some questions about the one-on-one coaching and whether we still have spaces available for that. If you emailed us about that or you're interested in that, we'll get right back to you with a list of questions to get the ball rolling. Hopefully we can fit you in this month. If we can't, we will let you know when we can fit you in. We do take a limited number of one-on-one coaching clients per month just because of the time that takes to really dig into your shop, but we will absolutely get back to you, and we'll be opening up more spaces in the coming months, so we'll get back to you very quickly on that. I just want to say that it's been such a pleasure to spend part of the day with all of you. I know it might sound cheesy, but I've gotten really good vibes from all of you through the internet, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. Happy selling, and thanks so much for joining us today.